Hello, everybody. Dave Neal here, stand-up comic and host of Bachelor Nation News. Happy Thirsty Thursday to all of you knuckleheads out there. April 6, 2023, and we've got Cat Izzo Tells All. That's right, Catherine, the Bachelor's version of Julia Roberts, gives her side of what went down in her season regarding her feud with Brooklyn and Charity and all that jazz, and we are going to get into it right now. Follow me on Instagram at DNeals for stand-up show updates. I'm in Pasadena tonight, tomorrow night, downtown LA, some other shows around, and you can go check that out there. Patreon.com/Dave Neal for behind-the-scenes bonus content. And every afternoon, Bachelor Rush Hour, the hit podcast, giving you all the day's news in one place. You guys might not know this, but I can't quite get to every news story that exists out here in the Bachelor world. Usually, I'm a one-man shop. I have 2 or 3 stories a day I can get to, but there's a lot of tick-tackiness happening out there in that world, and if you want some tick-tackiness with the Tic-Tac recapper, you can go over there to bachelorrushhour.com for every afternoon podcast. Now, what I'm going to be releasing on patreon.com/Dave Neal either today or tomorrow, probably today, it's still uploading, is my entire set from my show with Katie Thurston in San Diego. This is the theater, the comedy club that we performed at, and I'm going to give you guys just the first couple seconds now, if that's okay. Would you like to see this? I'll tell you what, if you don't want to see it, that's fine. I'll do the Cat interview with Game of Roses right now, then I'll show a piece of this at the end of this video, and then you can go check out the full version, the full 30-minute set on my Patreon as that uploads. Okay, so we've got Cat Izzo on Game of Roses podcast, specifically on Courtney Robertson's sort of podcast that she hosts on the Game of Roses podcast. Here she is. And I got to tell you, Kat, I've always been a fan of Kat. I think she got robbed from her edit. I think she was pretty naive on the show. And I think she was such a threat that the other women, some of them at least, came for her. Maybe they didn't realize it, but I think when you're a threat like Kat is, people come for you. And speaking of tic-tackiness, I think they were a little tic-tacky in the way that they came after her regarding her wanting to get a conversation with Zach in before he went on his date with Charity. Of course, Brooklyn feasted on that drama there. But, I mean, gosh, she's a lovely person. She's got a nice career, and she's beautiful. I mean, you know, I don't know, like maybe Bachelor in Paradise bound. We'll have to see how it all goes down. That's my sales pitch for Kat. So I'm going to get to what was said here. Again, you can go check out the full interview. It's only 21 minutes long, so you can go check out the full interview. It's called Off Contract with Cat Izzo. And of course, very interesting to hear her chat with Courtney Robertson, who, you know, had to deal with her fair share of not being loved in her season of The Bachelor. Have a listen.
Much energy. I'm like, you're the one that's on a date every day. I'm out here struggling. I don't understand. I remember the first group date, when I watched it back, I'm like, I was like going cross-eyed. I was so tired by the end of the night. It was a very long day. But your adrenaline's so high and you're so excited. You're having so much fun. Like you don't even realize the times that are the time at all. You're just enjoying the moments. So that kind of helped a lot, especially in the beginning.
Well, yeah, next thing you know, the sun's coming up.
Yep, exactly.
So how are you doing now? I mean, you know, so you handled yourself so well at the Women Tell All. So for the listeners, obviously, you know, they called you Kat on the show, but do you like to go by Catherine?
Yeah, that's what I know. I go by Kat.
Okay, so Kat, you know, pulled Zach to the side before Charity's one-on-one date and gave him a little smoochy pooch. He walked in with lip gloss, and Brooklyn really had I felt like more beef with it than Charity did. So how did that feel for you? Was it like the sort of thing they were like, go steal him? Like you just saw the opportunity? You're like, I miss him?
I've noticed, and I mean, I've known this, but I really realized this while watching it back and just being in those moments, very emotionally reactive. So prior to them reading the date card, I was, you know, confiding in people and talking about how I was feeling like I really did miss him because we lost that time in COVID in London and stuff. And I was just feeling like I was really hoping I knew that Charity was going to have time with him that week, but I just was like, maybe there's a chance that he wants to do a group date first. And I was like kind of thinking that, and I was just really missing him. So it was just something that I was like, okay, I miss him. Let me do something about it and try to see him. I mean, at the time, I'm only thinking about my relationship and myself. And when you're in settings like this, you sometimes act outside of yourself. I mean, it's situations that aren't normal, right? Like we're all dating one man. So I just remember being very like upset about not being able to see him over those extra week because we went like I don't even know. Reality caught up with us. That's how long we went without seeing him. So to like feel that longness with him more than we normally already were was really difficult. And that was just something that I was like, okay, let me just do this right before. Um, and also it was, I know it looked very shorter, like less time than it was, but we were sitting there for a good amount of time before I pulled
Oh,
him. We were all
All
kind of
right,
hanging.
so Kat shows some behind the scenes. Now, you might remember the scene where Zach comes to pick up Charity for their group date, and then Kat immediately butts in. And as Kat says here, they were sitting down for like 15 minutes. Everyone got their pleasantries in. Kat, she took the bull by the horns, if you will. And I'm all about that. I mean, look, I don't think most of these women have probably ever had to quote unquote compete for a man before. No offense to anyone who's competed. I've spent my whole life competing for the attention. You're at the bar rubbing elbows. You're not the tallest guy. You're trying to peacock and do your thing. Hey, how are you? Can I get you a gin and tonic? And she's like, actually, I want a tequila. And you're like, well, the special's gin and tonic. You know what I mean? You're just there at happy hour. Can we go to dinner at 7? Actually, let's go to dinner at 4:30. There's 2-for-1 tacos. Either way, point being is that there is no recipe for how it's supposed to go down. So she got, but she gave the rest of the women a chance to make her the headline, and you never want to be the headline of the story. Not on Bachelor, All right, so let's go to some other parts here. So we can quickly see that. I mean, in my humble opinion, I just don't think she did anything wrong whatsoever on a scenario where you're in this polygamous situation trying to get your time
The
in.
Bachelor, 10 hours a day on 2 times speed, taking furious
All right,
notes.
let's go forward here.
well, I loved it, honestly. I'm like, go after what you want. Like I said, use your time wisely. And then you come back in, and Brooklyn's like, just you can tell she's gonna lose it, and she's like, he has lip gloss on his lips. So, and then I loved how you shut that conversation down later with her. She came, kind of interjected herself into the conversation with Charity. How'd you feel?
When I come
Yeah,
back,
Charity's a therapist, right? I believe she's a therapist. Charity's a great communicator. It's almost belittling to Charity that Brooklyn would come in and be the outraged one. That's for Charity to have. You get a chance to say your piece, Brooklyn. You say your piece, and then you're done. You got to move on. That ruminating doesn't do anyone any good.
and everybody was like taken back, I was like, oh God, I just did something really bad. Like that was I'm like, I did not think that. So I'm like, oh my gosh, I just hurt people's feelings. And I was really upset to know that like I had done that to someone else. And then they're like, you just need to talk to Charity. And I'd actually asked my producer to like, can you just let her know? Like, I hope she has a good day. And I'm so sorry. Like, cause I really did not think that at the time I wasn't thinking outside of myself. So I felt immediately bad. And then I saw the energies get to the level that they did. And I just really was like, oh my, my only concern and priority was I need to just make this good with Charity. And
Yeah, and of course she did, but then there was defensiveness, and it spilled over till the women tell all.
came and sat down with me, followed me because I was getting in my feels, like crying in front of her. And she sat down on a chair with me and she said, I don't know what just happened, but I just want to talk to you personally. And we had a very good conversation. I was able to see where it hurt her and apologize immediately as when I could about the moment or about the situation. And we were able to come to an understanding. But at that point, it just had escalated so much with Brooklyn, and I was trying to just not let it affect my relationship. So
All right, much ado about nothing. So then, they have their little tiff at the Women Tell All. Honestly, not a big deal. Is there too much to this interview? No, I mean, it's a good interview, but I don't think there's anything surprising we're finding out. I think we're just sifting through the wreckage of the season, and one of the bigger storylines was the drama that was caused from this issue. And again, we just get to see sort of like, I don't even want to call it a group think. It was really, we kind of had a situation like we had on Bachelor in Paradise where we had the unionization of Grocery Store Joe and them kind of like dictating the moral boundaries of what goes down. And the same thing happened with Brooklyn. She, morally, she couldn't get past this. But, in Brooklyn's defense, she's also probably sleep deprived and struggling with all of the stresses of the show. And she's trying to control whatever aspects of it she can.
Katie as well. So it's kind of cool that you guys can all come together and, be so close.
it's people always ask, like, how do you guys do it? And I'm like, I don't know if it's just like our like personalities or just we just like don't view it in that way. We're very understanding and we know what we signed up for kind of thing. And we see each other past them being in a relationship with him. We see each other as individuals, I think, is what's really just helped. And yeah, I've had many weekends with them, and it's crazy to see it back now, knowing, because we really, none of us knew, because we wanted to just respect everyone's privacy. But I'm just grateful that we're not like, I didn't join a cast where everyone was weird about it, because that would have sucked.
I think it's super rare.
And then just to paraphrase, they go into Bachelor in Paradise, and Kat says, "Yeah, I think I'd be interested in going." So it doesn't, I think Kat would be an easy pick for Bachelor in Paradise. I think she would be far more suited for that, because while Zach had all these other options, I think, in my opinion, if Kat was put on the beach, she would be the apple of plenty of men's eyes, and she might have a better outcome. Let me know what you guys think. That's your Kat Izzo update. And in other news, like I said, I would play for you guys a quick clip of my stand-up show. So if you look at the screen here, I am behind this black curtain ready to go on stage. And Katie just did a joke about having inverted nipples, which is important to know, because a lot of times in stand-up, you can have your set ready to go, what you want to talk about, and I did, but you also have to be sort of, I don't know, free and flexible to deal with the audience coming off of what they're coming off of. And a lot of the audience was there to see Katie. So I thought, strategically, it's important to bring in something Katie said from her jokes and then apply it to my intro as we kind of seamlessly keep the energy rolling. And I don't know, you could see for yourself the first couple seconds of the set.
Give it up for Dave Neal.
Got that Diet Coke.
Give it up for Katie's inverted nipples. Let her hear it. She's got like turkey timers on her over there. That's nice. I have fat kid nipples. I wish they were inverted, okay? I was a fat kid. You can't shrink your nipples when you grow up. No, there's no P-nipple X for that. They're not even round anymore. They've fallen under their own pressure. That's where they're at. Hey folks, how are you? Good to see you. All right. Good to be here. I live in Los Angeles.
Okay, so then you can go check the rest of that set out, 31-minute set. Wherever, you can go check that out on Patreon, patreon.com/Dave Neal. I will have that up. It's uploading right now. It's like 18 megabytes. It's a very large file, so it's uploading. It'll go to a private YouTube video, and then you can go watch it there. Let me know what you guys think. Don't forget the free afternoon podcast, bachelorrushhour.com. Will be live every afternoon. You can go check that out, or binge past episodes. We're having a ton of fun playing music. We're obviously covering Bachelor, but also Love is Blind, American Idol, and some other entertainment news. Go check that out, bachelorrushhour.com. More content coming your way right after this.